Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Intuitive Living. I'm Bobby Sullivan here with the wonderful Echo Bodine and our fabulous producer, Nikki Hayes. Ladies, welcome. It's nice to be back. It's been a little bit too long since we've cranked up the Intuitive Living train here, but I'm glad that we're all here.
That was a little bit of a haul, wasn't it?
It was a little bit of a haul, but, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world. I'm glad we're all back together here. I'm sorry that we missed Halloween, but I went through kind of a tough couple weeks. My mom passed, and she just happened to do it right during that week, so it got a little bit tough to get anything done.
Mm-hmm. Have you felt her around, Bobby?
Yeah, she's definitely showed up a few times. She was kind of up and kicking my butt to get working afterwards. She said, I don't want you sitting around. I want and grieving. I want you up and working. And she said there's a lot to do. So that was pretty interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very typical Betty.
How did it come through, honey?
I could like feel her and hear her. I didn't see her necessarily, but
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine our listeners would be interested to know how you were able to communicate with your mom.
I'm not as visual like you are. I'm more, I mean, if it's visual, it's in my third eye. It's not, I don't see with my regular eyes as much. But I hear things and see things in my third eye, and I could feel her energy. You know, I could feel right when she came into the room.
Oh, I love it.
Which was pretty cool.
How many days after she had passed, honey, did that happen? Do you remember?
I don't know, Nick. What was that? It was maybe like about...
It's about 4 or 5.
4 or 5 days, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She had a really pleasant passing. She got to... Her wish was not to die in a hospital or in a nursing home or anything like that. And she ended up getting to do that. And the really cool part was that she got to see everyone. I have there's 5 kids in my family, plus, a lot of significant others like Nikki and my brother's wives. And she got to see all of us within the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Good.
Every single one of us.
Good.
I went out there 2 weeks beforehand, and she had a great week. She was up. I got to take her shopping. We went out to dinner. We did a lot of stuff. And the day I left, she went downhill. And actually, Nikki flew out there 2 days later to just because we needed someone to kind of watch her. And I don't know, Nick, you had a very different week than I did.
Oh, it was rough, yeah.
And
she did. She let go. She really let go. Yep. It was a long week. I ended up calling 911 for her because, I had to get her through till her last kiddo got there. And then her last daughter got there, and she rode the last week out before she went. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was, and so she was in the hospital, and then they let her come home, and we did an in-home hospice for her last week, and she got to be with her roommate, and her dog, and my 2 sisters were there, and my sister, who lived in London, because of COVID, hasn't seen her in 2 years, so my mom was definitely waiting for her to come back.
Good.
And, and she's the one who was with her when she passed. So it was really, really kind of cool. It was a very, very cool process that she went through, and she got to do it her way. So
good. I'm really glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, so lots of changes and lots of things going on this fall, it seems like. I wanted to ask you, Echo, the last time we had met, you were kind of getting ready to do your ghost tour at the old center. How did that go?
Oh, Bobby. Oh, God, honey, it was really cool. And Ted thinks we had at least 300 people go through that night. And it was really fun. We had, oh my gosh, I had made a whole bunch of brownies and lemon bars, and I had the popcorn machine outside. Ted made a really cool bonfire out on the parking lot. And he put a bunch of chairs out there for people to sit and relax. You know, we had a lot of people from the older generation. A lot of people that came in and said they were really excited to do this. They had never done anything like this ever in their whole lives. And when they saw it advertised on WCCO, they thought, hey, let's do it. It's free. And so what people did was, and Ted got a fog machine. So, and he put purple lighting in all of the lights inside.
Oh,
and
he's
fun.
so awesome.
it was just really cool. And I made 16 batches of popcorn.
Oh my
just
God.
to show you how many people
Oh
were
my
there.
gosh.
I mean, unbelievable. And much to our surprise, a lot of people came up. You know, it hadn't even occurred to me to go down in the basement. I didn't think people would go down there, but they
Oh my
did.
God. Oh.
And that's where all the action was.
Oh my God.
And this is an interesting thing. Maybe you can answer this, Bobby. People were down in the basement and they were using their cameras on their phones, and they were seeing, oh my gosh, all kinds of orbs. And a lot of them saw a big pink orb right in the middle of their camera screen. And so they were clicking pictures like crazy, and they were looking at everything, and everybody was comparing pictures, and it was really fun. They came upstairs to show Ted and I, and there was nothing on their cameras. Now, honey, why do you suppose that happened?
I don't know. I mean, they could see it when they were shooting it, but nothing showed up on the pictures.
No, when they were looking, they were showing each other, oh, I just got this, I got this. So it was on their cameras, all the flying orbs and the big pink one in the middle. And then when they came upstairs, they were so excited, oh my God, look what I got. Nothing. There was nothing.
Well, that's strange.
And everybody wanted to know, well, hey, man, what? It was just on my camera. Where did it go? And we had no explanation either.
Wow.
I know. So it was really, really fun. And people were so sweet. We didn't have any problems at all. There was one lady who said that she picked up a lot of energy from the basement. And I don't know, we just said, you know, okay, sit by the fire. And I mean, it was like, holy smokes, lady. There were so many people coming in that it was like, okay, just have her sit down. I don't know what to do right now. I'm popping popcorn. People are talking to me. Look at the pictures. Oh, where are the pictures? Blah, blah, blah. It was just, but it was really fun in the long run. You know, looking back, it was really fun.
Yeah. Well, you did a lot of publicity for that too. I mean, you didn't do it, but it just turned out that way, isn't it?
Yeah,
funny?
It did. Yeah, it just turned out that way. WCCO, oh my God, Bob, they did the sweetest advertising for it. They put it all in its own little picture, and the address, Ghost Night, free address, you know, the time. It was really nice of them to do that. Just really sweet. So the whole thing was meant to be, and people loved it. And it's too bad we didn't get any pictures. It would have been fun to put those pictures out on the screen or somewhere. But yeah, so many people who said, I've never seen any energy or anything. They were coming upstairs going, oh my God, I saw all this energy. And so then I wondered, I wonder if they're just seeing each other's energy. You know?
A lot of times with orbs and stuff like that is that will show up on cameras, you know, if you're using a flash or sometimes even not, that's dust particles just reflecting light, you know. So usually the orbs that I look at are the ones that are like big and colored, like you were talking about, or that are moving in a very distinct, you know, way.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that kind of
I
thing.
agree. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
the
I agree.
basement. I'd never considered the basement.
I don't even know if I was ever in the basement.
No, and you know what? I had gone down there, I think, twice in the whole year, and it was kind of creepy down there. But I just,
You think?
well, I just thought, well, it's basement, and so I didn't really even think about it. And we told people, yeah, look at the first and the second floor, and then somebody came up and said, oh my God, I was just in the basement. That's where both Ted and I were like, oh my God, you went in the basement, and that's where they found it. So that's where everybody kept going. Yeah.
Well, how does it feel to be out of the center now? This is the second time in the last 2 years you've had to leave the center. And this one, it seems like you put more work over a shorter amount of time than any place you've ever owned.
I did. It was really fun though. Looking, now I just turned the key in the other day, but just walking through and looking at everybody's office and thinking about the excitement we all had when we found out that we had a new center. I don't know. It was bittersweet to walk through. But I got all the stuff out of there. Micah helped me, Micah and one of his helpers. They got all the stuff out. We've got it in my garage. And my intuition, interestingly, I was going to just kind of give everything away. And my intuition said to keep everything. Oh. So that's what makes me think that there's another place coming. So I've got it all stored in my garage, and but intuition said, well, I'll tell you, intuition lately has been so strong about hibernating that we all have to hibernate for the next 6 months, and it's our time to rest and don't push ourselves and don't force ourselves to do things because we think we should be producing. It's been very loud lately about hibernate, and even taking naps. It's like take a nap. And I think, well, yeah, but I've got stuff to do. Just take a nap. And so I'll lay down, and maybe 20 minutes later, I'll wake up and I'll be completely refreshed. And then I get so much done at night. So it's been pushing, not just me, but when I've been doing meditations in the classes, they keep saying, you have to hibernate. That's what winter is about. You all have to hibernate and pay attention to the animals. They're going to hibernate. You need to hibernate. Okay. So there, I'm passing to all of our listeners.
Then don't feel guilty about those naps, people. Take them.
No, they said 2 things: take naps, get a lot of sleep, and drink water. Drink water was a big one too on their list. So okay,
right here.
Good Cheers. Boy. All right.
Bottoms up.
Yep. It's really important.
I've doubled my water intake since this summer, and I've felt so much better because I've done it. And I drank a lot of water before, but I have a bigger body, so I have to drink an excessive amount of water,
Yeah, good point.
They say you're supposed to drink, if you take your weight and cut it in half, that's how many ounces of water you're supposed to drink a day.
Gulp.
So if you're 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 ounces of water a day.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm thinking of the plastic bottles.
Well, a 12 ounce, even a 10 ounce bottle, that's 10 ounce bottles for someone who's 200 pounds.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a lot of peeing to me.
Yeah, but think about, it just keeps your kidneys and liver and everything super. The other thing I've been doing is drinking a big glass of water in the morning right when I get up.
Oh,
which has helped. Yeah, Nikki kind of got me doing that, and that really helps. I don't know. You're doing that too, right?
Yeah, If I don't know, it gets your liver going.
My buddy Dan, who's an acupuncturist, said that he will take a lemon, cut it in half at night, and boil it in spring water or some good water, and then he will drink that the first thing in the morning.
Oh,
So he drinks
lemon water.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
Speaking of intuition, I was going to ask you about your Pleiadian channeling. I don't remember who was talking about it. Somebody was talking about it and said it was really interesting.
Yes, it has been interesting. Now I haven't seen them for a couple weeks. They were coming in almost every day with some kind of a message, and I just thought about this the other day because they've been coming in on my Tuesday group. That's where we study the life of Jesus, and they've been coming in at the end of the class and giving us really nice messages. And then it all stopped. And so I don't know if it's just the timing. I don't know. They'll probably be back. They're really.
Hey, maybe they could come back on your podcast.
On my podcast?
Yes, Intuitive Living.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great.
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be great. They are so sweet.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give old Ninor a call and tell them that we're requesting their presence here on Intuitive Living.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Ninor.
Who,
We call him Senior Ninor.
Okay, is that a Pleiadian, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
At least I think he's Pleiadian.
I don't know what their names are.
Ninor.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I hope you don't have that wrong, Bob.
No, he's big and blue.
Well,
so, remember when they came through at the very first center that we worked at?
Bloomington?
In Bloomington, yep. And do you remember you were channeling them and all of a sudden the bathroom door just like slammed shut? I don't know if you remember that or not.
Oh my gosh, Bobby.
Right during the middle of class, all of a sudden it was like...
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. You know what else? Oh, God, this was so cute. The other day, Micah said to me, Echo, have you ever heard of Ra? R-A. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, he showed up in the 80s or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember Ra?
Yeah, that was during that same time.
Okay, yes. Remember that night he showed up and the energy in the room was just, whoa, so strong. And I said to this being, whoever they were, I said, who are you? And he said, Ra. It was R-A. And I had no idea. I don't even remember what he said. I don't remember any of that. But yeah, Micah was telling me that he's been reading about Ra.
Yeah, there's a very famous kind of channeling and book called The Law of One. And I think it was a woman named Carla Ruckert that channeled it. But don't you remember Win Free had written that book about it's called The Reincarnation of Edgar Casey, and it was about David Wilcock. But yes. Win Free was also the one who did all the scribing for Carla Ruckert. It was his girlfriend that was channeling the soul group Ra.
Oh. Wow, Bobby. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, it's really interesting reading The Law of One. It is, I mean, it's because it's so alien, it's like the way that it's sort of phrased and stuff is very different. It's not like someone's just writing. It's, it's kind of like hearing Yoda speak.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting stuff. And they talk about, and this was back in the 80s, and they were talking about this time when we were going through this big shift and what it was all about. Yeah, it's very, very cool stuff.
Okay. Well, one thing I can say that the Pleiadians have been talking about is that they said that this started, I can't remember the timing now, but recently the Pleiadians have been bringing in a lot of white energy to balance out our consciousness, they said the consciousness on earth is victim consciousness, where we all feel like victims because of the pandemic and the politics. It's just gotten really screwed up, and we're all just kind of feeling like victims, like what's going to happen next. And so the Pleiadians said, we're coming in, we're bringing in as much light as we can to flip this consciousness so that the people of Earth don't keep thinking of themselves as victims. And he said, what that's going to take is for all of you to look at all of this from a higher perspective. But there's a lot of people who won't do that. They choose to be victims. And he said, the bummer is that that is lowering the consciousness on this planet. And that's why they feel this need to come in and bring in as much white light as possible. Mm-hmm. They also said that we need to smile at strangers. Smile, smile, smile. Because they said smiling can actually shift the consciousness of the planet. And that if we are out there smiling at strangers, what people do is when somebody smiles at you, your first reaction is to smile back, you know? And it's like he said, you know, we're all walking around with our heads down, and we're feeling discouraged. And he said, but make a point of smiling at people that look like they're having a bad day, smiling at everybody. And he said, it doesn't cost you anything. And you can actually raise the consciousness of this planet by doing something that simple. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, you know, I mean, it sounds, I mean, okay, so I started doing that. Whenever I would go to the grocery store, I would look at people and smile at them. And people are so interesting. They're like,
and people are like, who is that weird lady smiling?
Yeah, I know. But still, I mean, it would, take them back a second and then they'd smile back.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I mean, it's just that whole energy shift right away when somebody's smiling at you. So it's really cool.
Well, in the Law of One teachings, they talk about, you know, this time that the biggest piece of this whole like ascension process is that people's heart energy has to be based in compassion. Okay. And they say in order to make this shift, you have to be over, I don't know what this means exactly, but you're like, if it was metered, you have to have over 50% of your heart open. And, and that's what is going to, you know, basically create the energy for your soul to make this shift or this transition. And they said that not everyone is going to be ready to do that at this time, but it kind of goes in line with what you're saying. When you smile to someone, you're opening your heart, you're showing them, you know, kindness or compassion.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's just an invitation to them to come back with a smile too.
Well, you're pretty good at it. You like to smile at people.
Yeah. I like to say good morning to everybody in the morning.
She does say good morning.
I do.
Unless if she's on the freeway, and then
I like to be at Woodlake and say good morning. If I'm on the freeway, it might be something different. Get out of my way!
Oh, that's funny.
No, Nikki's good at smiling and saying hello. I mean, I don't know if you've ever spent any time in New York or you know, big city kind of, but you know, when you go down the street there and you say hi to someone, you know, people are like, they look at you like you're crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Did you experience that?
Yes, I did. I was, oh God, that's not a good story to tell, but yeah,
were you just,
what was that?
He just
shorted her out.
Princess, who's the princess at the state fair? Princess Butterworth?
Butter. But yeah, the dairy.
Were you just the Princess Butterworth on New York going down?
I was a little intoxicated and I didn't understand the subway system. And I was trying to get back to my boyfriend, Roman's apartment, and everybody that I talked to either spoke Spanish or something else. And so I ended up riding the subway system for a very long time, crying and crying and crying. And then when I got back to his place, finally, he said, "Where in the hell have you been?" And I said, "I don't know." And so
all 5 boroughs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not a good experience. People just weren't. No, nobody smiled. Nobody wanted to give a hoot.
Were you just giving them Minnesota nice? Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, of course. I mean, God, yes. I was just a kid though. I was like 22 maybe, and naive as all get out, and had never
really
been
funny.
to New York and could not understand the people. Why are you so mean? Why aren't you nice? What? Yeah, it was an eye-opening experience for sure.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Yes. And
well,
I've been back.
You have been back since then.
I have been back, but I stayed with myself. I just made sure I had directions everywhere I had to go, and I didn't need to ask anybody for anything.
So, and you've spent time on the West Coast too, like in LA, and you used to go out there every year and do healings and stuff like that.
I used to remember, honey, I used to go to Malibu every month. I'd go for usually a week every month, and I loved it. I love Malibu. I mean, how can you not love Malibu? But it was great, and they were nice on the West Coast. They were nice people.
Can you tell your story of meeting Iron Man?
Oh,
the love of your life.
Oh, well, first the first movie star I saw out there was Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam
Elliott.
Elliott.
You know. Oh my God! I was sitting.
That's your kind of guy. Like you love a mustache wearing, deep voice.
Yeah.
I know your type.
I was sitting outside of a coffee shop, and it was a Saturday morning, and I just noticed this huge Suburban pulled in. And so I just looked over, and it was Sam Elliott. And he tipped his hat and said, "Good morning."
Good morning. Good morning.
I thought I died and gone to heaven. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I was, thanks. Like an idiot. But he knew he got me good. I know he just tipped that little hat. Good morning. But yeah, the experience. Oh my God, with Iron Man. I don't know if I should. Do you think that's okay?
It's been long enough. Yeah, I think you're okay.
Has it?
Well, you have to tell about your crush on him before you met him.
Oh my God, I had the biggest crush on. Oh my God, I had the biggest crush on Robert Downey Jr. Oh my God, and I went to every one of his movies. I swear 3 times, and it was so interesting because my mom and I went to see one of his movies, and when I came out of the theater, I just stood there and I said, "Mom, you know what? Before I die, I want to meet that man." And so we giggled about putting it on my bucket list. Okay, well, so my intuition always told me when to go out to Malibu, and there would always be a specific reason why I should be there at the time that it sent me out there. And so it gave me a picture. I had a picture of Friday. I had a picture of go out there on Tuesday. And then the next picture was on Friday, and I saw 4:00, and I saw a man with big brown eyes and dark hair. And then my intuition said, when you're done with that, you can come back home. Okay. So made reservations, flew out there on Tuesday. On Thursday, I said to my boss, I did healings and psychic readings out of the Malibu Health Club. I said to my boss, do I have anybody on the books tomorrow at 4:00? And she said, nope. And I thought, what? My intuition's never done this before. Okay. So I finished for the day and I went back to the place I was staying. And a couple hours later, my boss called and said, okay, you've got an appointment tomorrow at 4:00. And I said, does the person have big brown eyes? Yeah. brown hair. Yeah. And she said, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh my God.
And
Echo.
I screamed into the phone and I said, there's no way. No, I'm not. I can't. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. And she said to me, Echo, get a grip and be professional. And I said, no, you don't understand. I can't. I just can't. And so anyway, she told me again to get a grip. And so I swear I didn't get an ounce of sleep that night. I was so nervous. And next day I got up and, oh my God, what am I going to wear? Blah, blah. And what am I going to say to him? Blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, you guys. So
it's making me nervous now. And this was a long time ago.
Honey, I know. And all day I was just, and I kept checking with the front desk. Is the 4 o'clock still come? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so then at 4 o'clock came. And I came out and there he was standing and I couldn't even look at him. I just said to him, okay, Mr. Downey, follow me to my office. And I quick turned around and just I bolted down the hall. And so it was so funny. So he came into the office and I told him, I said, I do healing work. Again, I wasn't looking at him. I'm looking down. I go, well, I do healing work with psychic readings. So here, lay down here. And as you both know, I always use white hankies when I channel healing. So I quick grabbed my hankies and I put them over his face. And I thought, there. Whew, now, I could just pretend this is Fred Smith. And oh my God, he was just adorable. And
this was also what, like 30 years ago or something, right?
Yeah, honey. This was in his using days. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So I said, so I'm giving him a healing. And I said, oh, Mr. Downey. And he keeps saying, call me Bobby. I go, Mr. Downey. I kept calling him. It's like, no, you're Fred Smith. Shut up. Don't talk to me. And so then I said, Mr. Downey, there's this white stuff in all of your veins. It's like your body is really upset because there's this white stuff streaming through your whole system. And I said, could it be sugar? And he lifts the hanky up and he says, cocaine, darling. And I oh my God, I'm going to faint. And I quick took the hanky and I put it back down. I said, yeah, could be. I mean, I was that nervous. Okay, so.
And you didn't know he was a drug user or anything?
I didn't know. No, God, no. And so then afterwards, when the healing was all done and the reading was all done, I said to him, Mr. Downey, have I handled myself in a professional manner? And he says, he takes the hanky off and he says, why? And I just screamed. I said, I'm your biggest fan on this whole planet. Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. And he burst out laughing. And he said, you know what? I almost didn't come down here. I thought, God, she's a bitch. Because he said, you wouldn't even look at me. You just said, yeah, follow me to my office. And I thought, God, do I want to get a healing from this lady? And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, the whole experience just blew my mind.
Oh my God, Echo.
So then it was really sweet. He said, well, I want my wife to come and get a healing. And I'm going to have my sister come in. And then the next day, and I had my books for sale there at the counter. And the next day, he came in and asked me for my autograph.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
He had bought one of each of the books and he wanted it autographed. And he gave me a thank you card. And on the inside, it just said, what a great experience. He said, no psychic has ever kicked my ass like you did. Thanks so much. And then it said, love Bobby. And then it had his phone number. And then it said, if anything ever comes up, give me a call. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
This
it
whole
was
thing
pretty.
is making me sweat.
And you never called him.
I did call him one time. One time.
You did.
Yeah, when it was after he was arrested at those people's house, and I called, and it was so interesting because I know that was him that answered the phone, and he said, "No, Bob isn't here, or Robert isn't here," and I said, "Okay." So I said, "Just tell him Echo Bodine called," and then after that, I think he went to treatment or something, and that's why I was calling, because I told him, I said, I'm from Minnesota. We have great treatment centers here. And I said, you definitely have your anonymity. So if I can help
you can come right here to Echo's Treatment Center.
Yes, Echo's Treatment Center. Give you things every day. Oh, God. I know. Oh, man. But he was the nicest guy. Gosh, he was nice. And his wife was really nice. And his sister, she kept calling him Bobby. Every time she'd say anything about him, well, Bobby, Bobby. I was like, oh my God, Bobby. And, but it was really a cool experience.
That's fun. That's a really fun story. And so how long did you do healings out in Malibu then?
Shortly after that, honey, my intuition said, okay, we're done in Malibu. And so I went out. I had one more time out there after that time with Bobby. And then, I'm calling him Bobby. And one more time. And then, and my intuition, again, it was very specific when to go. I went, had a really cool experience, and life-changing experience. And at the end of that trip, my intuition said, okay, we're done in Malibu now. And people were asking me to move out there. And they said, that they wanted me to work at the club every day instead of just once a week. And you know what? I mean, Malibu is gorgeous, and I love the ocean. That's one of the reasons why I loved going out there too, was because the ocean was right across the street from the health club, so I could just stand there and be in front of it all the time. And yet I needed to come back here a lot and get grounded, because I couldn't seem to get grounded with the beach.
Yeah, it's definitely different energy out there. Is that your email?
Yeah.
Going up?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, honey. I can't shut it off unless
you can you can close your email.
I could close my. Oh, geez, I don't know how to do it.
So, have you worked on other celebrities? Did you work on other celebrities when you were out there?
Yes, I did. But they were, like the wives of famous people. Yeah. But I'm not going to say anybody's name.
No, that's okay. Okay. I think it's always interesting, like how our egos can get involved in working on people that are famous.
Yes.
Yes. And really they're no different than anyone else, right? So how, if for people that are out there doing healings and that need to sort of get out of that place, what do you recommend? What do you think they should do?
Oh, honey. Just remember, first and foremost, is that you're a channel for the healing, and you want to be really respectful. Like, even just now when I said to you, should I really talk about it? Because, I wrote about the experience with Downey, but I never said in the book who he was. And like you said, it was probably 30 years ago. So I guess it's okay. I mean, he's clean and sober now and blah, blah, blah.
He's such a classy guy too. I mean, I've listened to a couple of interviews with him, and he's just a class act.
I know. And Bobby, he was so kind. I mean, honestly, he could have just been this egomaniac, and he wasn't at all. He was very kind, very gentle, loving, funny, of course. And so, that's one thing I did learn with some of the women that I worked on out there is, everybody that I worked on was filthy rich. I mean, they come from a whole different place than you and I come from, for sure. But I just observed it, really. Just observed their lifestyles, and I stayed very down to earth for them, because it was obvious that they didn't have that kind of grounding there, and that they needed somebody that wasn't going to go goo goo. I mean, oh God,
well,
it's amazing.
It's interesting because I think, I mean, I've lived in LA. I lived out there for a couple of years, and the energy, and I've lived in Phoenix or Scottsdale, and a couple other in Colorado, and the energy is very different out west, and it feels very different. And it was interesting that you said you had to come back here to get grounded, because I think there's something about Minnesota, and I don't know if it's all the water or the dirt or whatever, but it's a heavier energy here, but it's also a very, very much more grounded energy. And I don't think that there's any coincidence why there are rehabs and that kind of stuff here, because
you're right.
And the Mayo Clinic and, the healing and all of that stuff happens here because it is so grounded.
Yep. Bobby, I remember saying, the words came out of my mouth with my boss at the club, I need to get back to the evergreens. And really, honey, I think that was it. The evergreens. We have strong, big, thick trees here. And you just, honey, I could feel it when I was flying. When we came into Minnesota, it was just like, oh, there's an energy here that kind of holds people in place. Whereas out west, it just felt like everybody was kind of bobbling around, not feeling really, what's the word? My brain just grounded, not feeling very grounded. And I noticed it as soon as I came back. And it took a few days to kind of shake the energy of the ocean and the air out there. And then, I was back home, and then I'd go through it again 3 weeks later. But it was the way it was. And I loved going out there. It was a nice little break from the routine here. And I've often, honestly, I've asked myself from time to time, do you want to do it again? I bet you could do it again. I bet you could get your job back. And no, not really. I don't feel it.
Yeah, well, so, I think that's cool how you listen to your intuition on it, because a lot of people would get pulled into the ego part of it and just go, oh, I want to go work on celebrities and, that thing, and I know that's never been your motivation.
It could have been so easy. Bobby, I just turned that thing off. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can.
Honestly, I turned it off. Anyway. Oh God, honey, you want to hear a cool story about ego? And do we have time?
Yeah, of course.
This is one of my most favorite life experiences ever. Okay. So, all right. So let's see. I flew out to LA to audition for a part on a TV show. And it was going to be like the Big Brothers TV show, except it was going to be people that wanted to be psychics. And so I was auditioning for the part of the house mother of this big house. And they were I think we had 16 wannabe psychics. And they had, oh God, oh God. Okay. So anyway, so I flew out there and I met with a producer. His name was Tony Krantz. That was a really trippy day. I met with Tony, his attorney, his agent, his assistant, and the woman that was going to produce the TV show. And so I went into the office. Oh, but before, I got to back up. So they put me up in this beautiful bed and breakfast place. Just, just beautiful. And then the limousine comes and gets me, and it takes me to the studio. And I'm trying to just be really grounded and calm. And as I turned around that morning at the bed and breakfast, I just looked at the place, and it's gorgeous. And I look out, and there's a limo waiting for me. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And I said out loud to God, I said, please do not let me forget what's important to me. And I said, I don't want to get sucked up into all of this. And I turned off the light, and I left and went down to the limo. Okay, went to Tony's office. And the producer told me, she said, now do a good job because I want you to get the job. And I'm like, oh God. Okay, so I go in and we're having small talk. Okay, so there's all these men, and his assistant is sitting next to me, and the producer is sitting on this side of me, and just sitting there. And I'm trying to just stay focused, stay focused. And
you should have put a hanky over all their faces.
I know, I should have. If I had him, I would have. But Tony looks at me, and he says, okay, what have you got? And I said, what have I got? And he said, yeah, what have you got? And I said, you mean you mean my psychic abilities? And he goes, yeah, come on, give me a reading. And then he said to me, wait a minute, are you one of those alphabet psychics? And I said, alphabet psychics? And he goes, yeah, you know, where you say, oh, yeah, somebody's here. His name starts with an R. No, it starts with a S. No, it starts with a B. And I said, oh, my God, no, I'm not an alphabet psychic. And he says, all right, so let's see what you got. What have you got? And so I said, well, you know how I work different. I said, I need you to ask me a question. And so Tony said, all right. And he asked some question. I don't even remember what it was. And you guys, it was so cool because at that time, I think it was Lily that was working with me, and Lily, the angel. And she came into the room. She came right over to me. She said, don't worry. I'm going to help you with all of this. And she dictated to me this reading. And what I did was, and I said to them, I said, I'm going to keep my eyes closed because if you react, then I'm going to have a hard time here. So, okay, fine. So I gave Tony a reading. Then his agent was sitting next to him. And as soon as I was done with Tony, they went right into this guy, and his deceased father came in, and he was smoking a cigar, and he gave a message to the agent. And then he went to the attorney, and we didn't even ask questions from these people. We just kept, okay. And then we went to this person, we went to the producer, and then they went over to the assistant. And I heard her say in my ear, don't you dare read me in front of these people. And I looked right at her, opened my eyes, and said, don't worry, I won't, which totally freaked her out. Okay, because she was just thinking it. Mm-hmm. She hadn't said it. And so then I opened my eyes and I sit back. Okay, so the agent is crying. He's sitting there with his mouth like that. And well, the lawyer was just like, how did you do that? And I said, well, it just, this is what I do. So Tony says to me, okay, Echo, would you please leave the room? We would like to discuss this amongst ourselves. And I said, sure, okay. And I remember the day because it was the day that Michael Jackson died. And everybody in the office was in this room watching TV, and everybody's crying. And so I'm standing out in the hall, and Lily comes and says to me, you got this, kid. And I thought, okay. And I felt very calm. And then Tony came out, and he walks right after me, and he's got this really serious look on his face, and he puts his hand out, and he said, I have interviewed over 200 psychics for this job, and you are by far the best psychic I have ever met. And he shook my hand, and he said, you got the job if you want it. Okay. So everybody's like, oh my God, we got the job. And then we had to go back and we had to go to, it was a long process. But anyway, so that night, another producer, I was having dinner with another producer from a different possible TV show. And these two writers, I had met them before out in LA, and they had said, I told them, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's have dinner after. Okay. So we went, and I said, oh my God, we have to celebrate. So we went to this restaurant, and one of the producers said, I don't know why, but I think we should go to this one restaurant over here. And it was right on the corner of a strange intersection in LA where it was like 6 different lanes came together, and it had a huge picture window. Okay. So I sat here, and the two producers sat across from me, and we're saying, oh my God, we have to make a toast. You got the job. This is fantastic. And all of a sudden, talking to the women, and I've got my back to the window, so I don't know what's going on. And I hear this huge crash, and I'm looking at the girls, and both of their eyes are going up like that, and then they come back down. And I said to him, what just happened? And it was so interesting. One of the producers, she stood up and she said to me, I've read Hands That Heal. You can heal this person. And I stood up and looked, and there was somebody laying right in the middle of the intersection. He had been on a motorcycle. A car had hit him. He had flown up in the air, landed on the ground. And so, you guys, we were all decked out in really fancy clothes, high heels, the whole deal. And so she takes my hand and she's pulling me out the door. She says, you're going to heal this kid. You're going to heal this. We didn't know it was a kid. You're going to heal this guy. You're going to heal this guy. And okay. And so we got up to the young man, and I just said, hi, I'm a healer, and I'm going to channel healing to you. Okay. And he just laid there. He just said, like that. And so the producer, all these people were coming around me and us. And she said to the crowd, she said, everybody back off. She's a spiritual healer. She knows what she's doing. She's going to give this guy healing. And this one drunk in the crowd, he's like, that's against the law, and you can't do that, and get your hands off him. And she walked right over to him and said, basically, shut the F up. And so everybody gave me room. And then, so I just kept channeling, listening to my intuition, going here, going there. I was totally focused on channeling healing. And then the police came, and the policewoman walked over to me and said, are you an EMT? And I said, no, I'm a spiritual healer. And she just looked really deep into my eyes, and she said, all right, keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep the crowd away.
Wow.
And yes, and she did. And then about 20 seconds later, the ambulance pulled in, and the guys came running over, and they said, okay, we'll take it from here. And that was it. And then Victoria, the producer, she took my hand and she said, okay, come on, let's go. And we went back to the restaurant, and we walked in the restaurant. Everybody was clapping, and I just sat down, and I felt so grateful that I was a healer. And when I went back to the hotel or the bed and breakfast that night, and I walked in the room, I remembered my prayer from that morning, saying to God, help me remember my priorities. And all I could think was, I was so grateful that I got to be a healer and that I could help this kid. And then it was like, oh yeah, that's right, I got that job. And so it was really, really cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
I've never, ever, ever forgotten it, because because I had said that prayer in the morning and I was sincere about it, and it got answered.
Yeah. And the TV show ended up not working out, or?
Yep. NBC bought the TV show. It was going to be called The Gift, based on my book, which was really cool. And 12 days, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't 12 days. On Thursday, they called. This was several months later because we had to work on every episode. So every day, every day we would work on what we were going to do in each episode, and it was 12 weeks long. And then they called me on a Thursday and said, okay, we've got your tickets. You're going to start production on Tuesday. Do you like to fly in the morning or in the afternoon or evening? And I said evening. And they said, okay, we're going to get your ticket tonight, and we'll let you know tomorrow. So the next day was Friday, and
I remember this, and you had a signed contract.
Yeah, I did have a signed contract, honey. And the next day, the producer called, and she was crying and said, NBC just canceled the show, and we're not allowed to speak about it. It was in the contract that if the show was canceled, we were not allowed to talk about it at all, or we would be fined $1 million. And so I didn't talk about it, but yeah, it got canceled. 4 days, because that was Friday that it got canceled. And then we were supposed to start production on Tuesday. So it was a shock to everybody. We had all the contestants, we had the places. We decided not to just do one house, but we were going to travel around the country, go to different, and everything was set. And God, I went to Chico's and bought $1,000 worth of clothing, because they don't provide the clothes. And it was a shock to all of us. But
wonder if that whole thing happened because you helped save that guy's life. And if that whole thing didn't happen, you wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, well, yeah, honey, I don't know. We were all so stunned by it. Oh my God.
I'm
sure. We just couldn't believe it, that it was.
Yeah, because that's when you and I had, Carol had the center over in South Minneapolis. That was the one on Grand. And
Okay.
I think I was getting ready to take over your classes and
Yep.
all of that
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
That's right, honey. That's right. Yeah. And did we have the radio station then?
Yep. We were doing the FM 107 show and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, honey. That was a long time ago, it seems like. But really cool story.
Well,
I love
fun.
that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Fun.
Amazing story.
Well, thanks for sharing those stories. I think people love to hear that stuff.
Yeah. They do like to hear
really
stories.
Fun. And look, we're at the end of our hour already.
Are we already?
Wow. Yeah. So we don't need Michael Bodine today. He was going to be on, but we kind of lost him in the midst of things.
True.
But we'll have him back.
Yeah, we will.
We just put a nickel in you today and let you go.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the nickel.
That was my plan.
Thanks, Bob.
I do. That's what I do, Echo. I'll just
good one.
Keep those Bodines talking.
Yeah.
And we didn't even take a commercial or anything. We just went right through.
No, we didn't.
I love
that. Just went right through.
Okay, well, we are going to be back probably after Thanksgiving, right? That'll be our next show.
Probably, yeah.
And maybe we can do some fun stuff for Christmas this year.
Let's.
We
should try to do the music one. That's just so fun.
I know. Well, we can do it. We just might have to. You guys might have to come to my office to do it.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'd have to come and do it in person.
Oh, it would be fun. It's been so long since we've done one in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fun. Okay.
Cool.
Ooh, fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, anything else before we wrap this up from either the two of you? Anything you want to promote or talk about?
I just want to remind everybody to smile and keep on smiling and keep on listening to that still small voice inside.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
You know what else, though? Okay, yes, I do want to add something because the holiday is coming, and it can be very, very stressful for people. So this year, instead of doing what you should do at Thanksgiving, would you please consider doing what you want to do at Thanksgiving? And maybe you have some family traditions that, should have been over and done with 20 years ago, but you keep doing them because that's what you're expected to do. So maybe set the tone a little different this holiday.
Well, I think the holidays are a great time to also practice our boundaries, because there's nothing like having our family to stomp on our boundaries to remind us how to put those up.
I know, yeah, really. And if the thought is coming to me, if you have an alcoholic relative who ruins it for everybody every year, well, A, don't invite them, or B, if it's really a stressful situation for you, don't go.
Yeah, or put water in the vodka.
They'll never know.
They'll never know.
Never know. Those are some of the worst stories. The alcoholic relative.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, my darlings. Well, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and
will do. Yep, will do.
And
you too as well, honey.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in a couple weeks.
We will.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, you two.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Have a good weekend.
On behalf of Echo, Nikki, and myself, I hope everyone has a great holiday. You've been listening to Intuitive Living, and we'll be back in just a couple weeks. Bye-bye.